So moving on, our next speaker is again our very own Saloni Kulkarni. She is a functional nutritionist and a head of client services at iThrive with a master's in clinical nutrition and dietetics. She brings both science and real-world practice together in her mission to help people heal. With over 6 years of experience and 14,000 hours of client coaching, she has worked with hospitals, polyclinics, and even cloud kitchens, exploring nutrition from diagnosis to dining table. Having guided 400 plus clients through gut, hormonal autoimmune, and lifestyle condition, she lives by the philosophy that health is a daily practice. Today, Saloni is taking us into what she calls the power plant of our body, the mitochondria, those hidden CEOs of human health. So please join me in welcoming Saloni Kulkarni.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I hope you are not sleepy. Everyone, what?
Energetic.
Energetic. Wow. I love this confidence and this motivation. Well, talking about mitochondria, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? That's what we have been learning since our 8th standard, I would say. So, yes, why are we talking about mitochondrial nutrition today is because of the epidemic of chronic disease that are happening around. With the rise in epidemic diseases such as type 2 diabetes, neurodegeneration, Alzheimer's, heart diseases, there's one common thing that is similar in all these conditions. For decades, we have been treating these conditions differently, right? If you have something to do with your brain and nervous system, you go to a neurologist. If it's to do with your diabetes, you'll go to an endocrinologist. But what if I tell you these all share one common root cause, which is nothing but the mitochondrial dysfunction? So meet the cellular CEO, that is what I call it, because it's the powerhouse of cell. And apart from that, most of the chronic diseases begins with mitochondrial dysfunction. Because if your mitochondria is not functioning well, the diseases are going to start arising. What does mitochondria do apart from the powerhouse and being like the main site of energy production? It is basically going to regulate the inflammation. It has a role to do in apoptosis, which we also call as cell death. Basically, it gives the killing signal for your cells. Along with it, what it does is it will manage the oxidative stress. Well, the students from iCFN course knows what I talk about oxidative stress during my lectures. I hope you can recollect those things and those examples. This is a little bit of biochemistry and the biochemical pathway. So from pyruvate, how it comes to ATP at the site of mitochondria where Krebs cycle starts functioning. I know it's too much of biochemical pathway. I'm not going deep into it, but this is the main site where the ATP production starts happening. Our main role is we have to come from the right hand side towards the left hand side. That is what is our main role. Because trust me, this is not just one way street. If we say that it's dysfunctional, it's not that it cannot come into a functional thing again. You can definitely do it. I'll talk about those pillars and how we can do it in the further slides. Main role over here, I would say, is we saw ATP generation, growth and adaptation, and thermogenesis. But the main concerning thing for us goes to inflammation over there and the cell death. Inflammation again becomes the root cause for major chronic conditions. And I know that people practicing would also agree on this because inflammation becomes the root cause of most of the conditions. So that is our main role that we have to look into, moving from the dysfunctional part to the functional part. Coming to the vicious cycle of dysfunction now, it's like mitochondria is causing this and that, but where does it begin? It begins with the lifestyle that we are exposed to, the root cause of it, where it is poor lifestyle and poor diet, where we lack the essential nutrients that our body requires. Secondly, it's high chronic stress. Everyone is exposed to stress. It's just the way we deal with stress plays a major role. Toxin overload, lack of sleep. I think Dr. Kunal is going to talk about sleep more, so I'm not going deep into it. Blue light toxicity, that's the light that's coming on me right now, which is the blue light. Definitely going to make my mitochondria dysfunction in a small amount. Then poor breathing. That's what Mugdha also spoke about, like breathing and oxygen carrying capacity is very important for our body and our mitochondria to function well. With this, what it starts happening is the mitochondrial damage starts happening inside your system. Furthermore, what it results into are the symptoms that one experiences, like fatigue, weight gain. There might be brain fog, oxidative damage, and oxidative stress inside the system, with various more symptoms that are going to happen. And coming forward, we give them the final label, which is known as the chronic disease, where we call them like type 2 diabetes, they have heart conditions, and so on. Now we are talking about there's mitochondrial dysfunction constantly, but how do we test it? How do we know that there's mitochondrial dysfunction happening inside our clients? The number one test that I would recommend to our clients would be the OMX profile. Why? Because this organic metabolites actually tells you in detail about how the glycolysis works, how the Krebs cycle works, the fatty acid oxidation, including the protein metabolism, along with it, the microbial metabolites and toxic impacts. And it's not just simply testing your B12 levels or vitamin D levels. It's actually testing the different cofactors that are going to be there. This provides a real-time snapshot of what's happening at your cellular level. So I would really recommend this OMX test for our clients when we want to check for the mitochondrial dysfunction. This is what it tells us about. So the insights that the OMX test gives us are various other things that are there, including the Krebs cycles that I spoke about, which tells us about the central energy pathways that are there inside the system. For example, it reveals the bottlenecks that are going to be there. For example, if it's high pyruvate or high lactic acid, it signals a severe slowdown in the mitochondrial functioning itself. Now, if there's less amount of pyruvate or high amount of pyruvate, it is the precursor where it gets converted to acetyl-CoA and enters the Krebs cycle. That itself is going to tell you the mitochondria is not functioning well. Similarly, cofactor requirements, these basically comes from your coenzyme Q10, B vitamins, because these serve as cofactors. Cofactors are nothing very simple. It's just going to speed up the reaction inside the body. And if they are not present, the reactions are not going to happen, thereby giving you different kinds of symptoms that we saw. Oxidative stress and detox pathways are in smaller amounts that comes in this OMX test, but this tells you about the glutathione's activity inside the body and the gut microbial axis, which talks about the microbial metabolites, like certain microbiosis, like this gut dysbiosis in terms of Clostridia and Candida can actually impair the mitochondrial enzymes, thereby giving sluggishness and fatigue kind of symptoms in clients. This is an interesting test. We have not done this yet until now because it's not available in India. It's only in US where Chris Masterjohn does this mitomy test where they analyze the mitochondrial functioning at a cellular level. So we are trying to collaborate. That's the next step and the next future for our clients as well. So this is the test which speaks about like 90% of your energy is made in the mitochondria, and that is where it is going to test. They test for different energy production pathways. They test for anti-aging pathways as well. That is what is present in their test. Since we have been talking about testing and the dysfunction, let's talk about how to actually reverse this particular thing, because it's not a one-way street. Starting with the essential cofactors, where it's coenzyme Q10. Everyone knows what coenzyme Q10 does. I'm not going deep into it, but I've mentioned few dietary sources as well as supplementation that is required, and this is specific to the mitochondrial health. If it's with any other kind of diseases, you'll have to change those supplementation. So that's just a disclaimer for it. Then it's PQQ, because that also plays a role in ATP synthesis and mitochondrial health. Again, it is going to come from fermented food products, green tea and kiwi. B vitamins that we have been speaking about, even Dr. Ashwini spoke about B vitamins in his talk. Then comes magnesium. It's our favorite supplement. And different forms of magnesium, amongst which magnesium malate actually plays a major role when it comes to the mitochondrial functioning. Speaking about minerals, definitely minerals play a role of cofactors again inside the system, and that is why you need to have it in the form. But if you see, it's mostly the dietary sources coming from the non-vegetarian sources. So including trace minerals, where you'll add 20 to 30 drops in 1 liter of water is something which is important. Then secondly, we'll have to look after protecting the structural integrity, where omega-3 fatty acids are important. L-carnitine and ALA plays a major role. Now, amongst this, if you see, again, the phospholipids are very important because it actually keeps your structural integrity and the membrane integrated together. I'll be talking about plasmalogens also. Over here now, again, krill oil is something that I would really recommend our clients to have it. L-carnitine in the form of supplementation, or else the food sources, that's non-vegetarian foods again. And ALA, that's what is again going to act as a cofactor for the system. Third is, now we are giving certain things and cofactors so that the energy production is going to happen, but we also need to think about repair and renewal. This happens with the help of antioxidants. With it, we are going to add polyphenols to it. Further, we are going to add urolithins, and that's going to come from mostly the colorful fruits and vegetables for our system. Nicotinamide, riboside, that is NR and NAD precursors that are also important because these play a role in formation of ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate inside the body. And it also plays a role when it comes to managing the DNA repair and metabolic health. The last one is sulforaphane, which mostly comes from the cruciferous vegetables and the broccoli. So that is also going to be important because it works with NRF2 pathways. That's actually going to help with the oxidative stress and oxidative damage. The last one is mitophagy, which is the cleanup. Now, we are not just going to keep dumping things in our dustbin, right? We need to throw that also somewhere out. This is the same thing where it's recycling the damaged mitochondria. Now, what we do over here, the best thing is going on a intermittent fasting and starving, basically, because no eating and fasting is the form of nutritional therapy where the body's control mechanism for the damaged cells is going to start working. This is about the plasmalogens, which are phospholipids, again, integrating inside your cellular membrane. And these are basically glycerophospholipids, and their main function is for membrane fluidity and structure, as well as intrinsic antioxidant defense. That is how plasmalogens are involved inside the system. They are highly concentrated in nervous system, immune cells, and cardiac tissues. So these are one class of things which is actually very important when it comes to overcoming the oxidative damage and the mitochondrial dysfunction. Well, beyond nutrition, it's exercise, sleep like a panda, sunlight exposure, which is very, very important. Water, it's not only about drinking water, it's also about the trace minerals that I spoke about. Because since Mugdha also spoke about, it's not only the filtered water or the RO water that you should be drinking, but adding trace minerals is something very important. The last one is integrating each and every practices of breath work, just being calm, relaxing your body, because along with the breath work, because that actually helps in generation of ATP inside your system. So all these things are going to be very, very important. And yes, that's it. Thank you so much. Questions? Yes.
You supplements for the mitochondria?
No.
You have
I can't see you though.
you have only mentioned non-vegetarian sources for the CQ10.
Yeah,
Any vegetarian source?
ideally no.
No.
That is why the highest form of supplements are
Right.
supposed to be taken.
Right. Thank you.
Yes.
How does mitochondria autophagy?
What?
How does mitochondria is it a normal cycle? How is autophagy initiated?
It initiates mitophagy, which is a form of autophagy.
Not the whole cell aspect.
No.
How
Ha.
is that initiated?
It is initiated because your body needs a recycling thing inside the system itself.
I have a question. Here.
I can't see you. You can ask the question though.
Yes. So this glutathione supplements, which are quite famous in the market. So it's made up of amino acids, right? So isn't it supposed to go in the body and break down? And it is used where it is required by the body. So glutathione, like people advertise it according to like, it's good for skin and all. But if the body is deficient in those amino acids, isn't it going to use it for the basic function instead of using it for skin glow? So can you comment like if it's actually useful to take glutathione supplement, or is just the advertisement gimmick?
It depends upon for what purpose do you want to take that glutathione, because nowadays they are marketing it as the glow supplement.
Yes. So people are marketing as a glow supplement, but is it really helping the individual for glowing skin? Because the amino acid, if it's required for the body for basic functions, it will first use it for the basic functions, and then it will
Yes.
come to the skin, right?
Yes,
So
that's right.
but the people are so deprived of or like deprived of the protein already, And if we supplement then with glutathione, thinking that people take it thinking that it will bring a glow to their face. So is it really helpful for them? Because like, what's your take on that glutathione supplement with this point of view?
I would say liposomal glutathione and IV glutathione is much more better because that will actually help with your skin regeneration if you want to use it for the skin repair.
Regardless of the
Yeah.
protein.
The pyramid that I showed in my first, the first talk, you cannot out supplement a bad diet. You can't.
Yes.
There is no way to do it. Okay? Like, if you're not getting enough protein from your diet, you can't eat that much. You have to take something for protein, a protein shake or an EA or something like that. So that is part one. So consider when you work with any clients or any patients or any family member talking to you, also give me the supplement for this. You have to get the foundations right first. Secondly, glutathione. So there are certain peptides that work as the peptide itself. They maintain their integrity. Oral glutathione absorption is lesser than IV glutathione, but it does support detoxification. It does support mitochondrial repair. We've seen that clinically also. So don't panic if protein is not there in the diet and someone is taking glutathione, just get them more protein. That's how you do it. And the glowing skin is a side effect. It's not supposed to be taken for skin. It's supposed to be taken for internal health and detoxification. It's just that because glowing skin happens, all the dermats are using it for their eyes. So don't even put your mind to the skin glow with glutathione. If you want skin glow, there are other peptides that do.
Thank you.
But we can put it on the page, Christy.
I have one question on intermittent fasting.
Okay.
Is there any updated guidance in terms of differences to be observed between men and women when it comes to IF?
I didn't get your question. Can you repeat it?
On intermittent fasting as a process for mitophagy, is
Hmm.
there any updated guidance on differences between men and women and whether there should be different protocols on IF?
No, not that I've heard about it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Saloni, for your wonderful talk.